Okay, I've got 200, question 1. I've got 200,000 and another 50,000, so that would be in the 10,000s column. Now there's nothing in the thousands column, so that would be a 0. Then in the hundreds column there is a 900, so there would be a 9 in there. There'd be nothing in the tens column, nothing in the units column. There's my decimal point. There'd be nothing in the tenths column. Then there would be 3 hundredths and 2 thousandths. So it's 250,900.032. This one is 200, so that's in the hundreds column. There's a 10, so that's a 1 in the tens column. There's a 7, so that's a 1 in the 7 in the units column. There's 9 tenths and 1 100. So there's no real surprise there. That one is all, there's no zeros that you need to enter, because every different column is going to have a correct digit there. Okay, I need to see for question 3. I'm going to repeat this again. If you haven't done the working out, I need to see it. Okay, so I need the working out for question 3 and 4. So I want a column method, ideally. So we'll do 69, and we're going to multiply that by 58. And if you've not got this solid, you need to practice it. 9 times 8 is 72. 2, little 7 there. 8 times by 6 is 48, plus 7 is 55. Put a 0 here. 5 times 9 is 45, so the 5 goes here, a little 4 there. And 5 times 6 is 30, plus the 4 gives you 34. Now, I've run out of space here, so I'm just going to rewrite this over here. I've got 552, and I've got to add on 3,450. Just be careful with your columns. So 2 plus 0 is 2. 5 plus 5 is 10, so a 0 and a 1. 5 plus 4 is 9, and one more is a 0. Carry that 1, 4,002. But I must see the working out, please, guys. Okay, this is not something to practice your calculator skills. It's something to practice your, your written calculation. Okay, I've got 83 times by 78. Now I'm going to do it over here, so I'm not going to need to write it out again. So 83 times by 78. So start here. 8 times 3 is 24. 4, little 2 there. 8 times 8 is 64. Plus 2 is 66. Put a 0. 7 times 3 is 21. 1, a little 2. 7 times 8 is 56. Plus the 2 makes 58. Going to add up. 4 plus 0 is 4. 6 plus 1 is 7. 8 plus 6 is 14. So a 4, a little 1, and a 5 plus 1 is 6. 6,474. So this is what I want to see, guys. If you didn't get it correct, or if you're not showing your working, I want to see the working. The video is there online, so if you if you've not got time right now, you've still got that to be able to look back on it, see how it's done, and make sure you're doing that for the next week. Question 5. I've got 5a, add another 7a, it's going to give me 15a. I got 2b, add another 5b, is going to give me 7b. Question 6, I've got 9a, add another 6a, gives me, again, 15a. And I got 5b plus another 5b is going to give me, just going to change pens, 10b. Which is also a lovely village in Wales. Okay. Work out the value of x minus 6 when x is 11. So guys, we did a bit of work on this. You substitute in. Okay, so I take the x is 11 and I change that x for 11. So that's going to give me 11 take away 6. I'm just changing, because x is equals 11, I'm substituting that in. So 11 take away 6 is 5. 6b plus 5, so I take this b, 7, and I substitute it in for the b. So what I have is 6, 7 plus 5. Now, the reason why I put it in brackets is if I just write it as 67, it would be 67 plus 5, 72, which is not right. If it's next to each other like this, it means it's multiplied. So if you're just writing it next to, like 6b, that means 6 times by b. So it's 6 times by 7, which is 42, plus 5, which is 47. Question 9, rounding to significant figures. The most significant figure, I've said this now for the 4th week in a row, although for some of you in my group it will be for the 2nd week in a row. I've talked about how significant figures work. This column here is the thousands column. It's the most important column here. Imagine I were to give you £7,901, but I would enable you to change any of these digits. You wouldn't want to change that one. It's not as important. You could get up to 7,909 if you changed that one to a 9. But if you changed this one up to a 9, you could get £2,000 more, 9,901. So this is the most significant or most important number. So I need to round to this column, which is the thousands column. So I need to say, what is this number to the nearest thousand? And it's 8,000. With this one, I'm going to round it to this column is the most important column. That's the tens column. So to the nearest 10, is it closer to 70 or 80? It's closer to 80. And question 11. I have a very eager student who wants to give it a go. What do you say? 75. I'm afraid not. Okay. A number, this X just stands for a number. When I divide it by 5 equals 11. So this is basically a related division fact. If you know that 5 times by 11, if you know your times tables that 5 times 11 is 55, then it must be that 55 divided by 5 would give you 11. So that is the number which is missing there, 55. Question 12. Again, if you know your times table fact that 5 times 5 is 25, then you should know that 25 divided by 5 would give you 5, and that is that number, isn't it? That's the bit that's missing. So my answer is that it's 25, which when divided by 5 gives you an answer of 5. Question 13. It's going down 3, right? 22 is going down 3, so we're going to keep going. The next one, if I'm going down 3, would be 16. The next one, if I'm going down 3, would be 13. This one is going down 4. Alright, so this one here is going to be 22, take away 4, which is 18. But this one must be 4 bigger than 26, so that one would be 30. Question 15. I saw when I was looking at your papers, guys, that a lot of you guys had missed this out. If you watched your video from last week, I bet you would be able to do it. Okay, so those people that did probably were able to do it. Those people that didn't probably were not. Okay, 2, and I want this correction complete. When you have a number outside and then 2 terms inside, I'm going to multiply each one. So I get 2 times by 11, which gives me 22. I then get 2, and I have to times it. Now this is a difficult bit, because I'm going to times by minus 2x. So 2 times by minus 2 would be minus 4 on your negative numbers, but in this case it's going to be minus 4x, because it's like minus 2x. So when I multiply that by 2, I have minus 4x. Same idea here. I'm going to multiply that first term. So 5 multiplied by 3x would give you 15x, and then 5 multiplied by minus 1 would give you minus 5. Question 17. There are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So therefore, if it's 39.6 meters, it's going to be 39.6 times by 100. When we're timesing by 100, all the digits are shifting 2 spaces over. So this would be 3960. 3,960 centimeters. This one, same idea, 100 centimeters is 1 meter, so 13.1 would become 1310 centimeters. Question 19, remembering what square numbers are, right? The first square number is 1 squared, which is 1 times 1, which is 1. The second square number is 2 squared, which is 2 times 2, which is 4. The third square number is 3 times 3, which is 9. The 13th is going to be 13 squared, which is 13 times by 13. Okay, so 13 isn't one of your times tables, so we may as well do it like this. 13 times 13. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 3, put the 0. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. Add them all up. 169. Fourth cube number. Okay, guys, the way cube numbers work is they make cubes. Okay, so for example, the first cube number would make a 1 by 1 by 1 cube. So the volume of this would be 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1 cubed, which is just 1. The next one would be a 2 cubed, which would be, if you imagine it as a cube, 2 in each direction, which would be 2 times 2 times 2, which is 2 cubed, which is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. The fourth cube number would look like a cube with 4 by 4 by 4. Okay, so it's like, it would look something like this, like a slightly bigger than a Rubik's Cube, right? Like a 4 by 4 by 4. So this would be 4 times 4, which is 16. And then I'm going to do 16 times by 4, right? So those first two give you 16, and then I need to times by 4 again. If I'm times by 4, I can do it with a calculation like this, or I can double it and double it again. Twice 16 is 32. And if I double that again, it's going to be 64.
Yes! Oh my god, I got it.